Welcome to the kitchen. Today we are making slow cooker Parmesan honey pork roast. It is a recipe that has been pinned thousands of times from my blog and it has hundreds of comments. It's easy, delicious, picky eater proof, and the entire family is gonna love it. Hi, I'm Leanne from YourHomeBasedMom.com, and today we are making a recipe that is a Sunday favorite at our house, but it is perfect for any night of the week. Thanks to the slow cooker, you end up with a tender, juicy pork roast that literally falls apart. Let's get started. Today's recipe uses a pork loin roast, and it calls for a 3 to 4 pound roast. I couldn't find a 3 to 4 pound roast at my store, so I'm using 2 smaller pork loin roasts that equal about 4 pounds. Now, you could also use a picnic roast or a shoulder roast. You just want to use a boneless pork roast. And the great thing about a pork is it's a little less expensive than beef, so this makes it a budget-friendly meal. So the first step is we're going to put our pork into our slow cooker, and then we're going to mix together a topping that's going to go on top of the pork. Okay, so for our mixture that goes on top of the pork roast, we are going to start with 2/3 of a cup of some grated Parmesan cheese. We're going to add in 1/2 cup of honey, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of minced or chopped garlic, a tablespoon of dried basil, and a tablespoon of dried oregano, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then we're going to mix all that together, and it's going to kind of form like a paste that's going to go on top of the pork roast. And we're ready to put it on top of the pork. Just pour it right over the top and kind of spoon it around so that the top of the pork gets covered by the mixture. Some of it's going to run down onto the sides. That's perfectly okay. I like to have as much as possible covering the top of the roast. All right, we're going to put on our lid. We're going to turn it on low for 5 to 6 hours. Your house is going to start to smell amazing. So after 5 to 6 hours on low, we are ready to serve our pork roast. You want the temperature to be about 160 degrees. All right, our next steps are we're going to remove the roast from the crock pot and put it onto a serving dish. And now it's going to be nice and tender, so it may fall apart just a little bit on you, but that's okay. And then we're going to take all those yummy, delicious juices that are in there, and we are going to strain them through just a fine mesh strainer because we're going to thicken those juices for a gravy. So now we're going to just take our juices and pour them through the strainer. All right, now we need to thicken up our juices so that it'll form a yummy gravy to go over the top of the roast. So we're going to take 1/4 cup of chicken broth and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and mix that together. And this is going to be our thickener. Get all your lumps out of your cornstarch, and then we're going to pour that into our hot juices. Mix it all together, and then we're going to put it into a saucepan and stir it, let it come to a boil, and let it thicken up. We're going to let this come to a boil and stir it and let it thicken up. All right, after your gravy has thickened up, go ahead and give it a taste test. See if it needs maybe a little salt or a little sugar, and add in accordingly. And then we're ready to serve it. We have got our pork roast on the platter, and we're going to pour our nice, yummy gravy right over the top. And I love to serve this pork roast with some mashed potatoes or some roasted potatoes with a yummy veggie, maybe some roasted asparagus and a green salad. And I'm going to link to some of the recipes that I'd like to serve this with in the description down below. And now we are ready for the taste test. Perfect dinner. It's so tender and delicious. Give it a try. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. You can find the recipe for this crock pot Parmesan honey pork roast in the description down below. And be sure to check out my other videos here on YouTube by clicking over here. And as always, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel by clicking down below And be sure and turn on that little notification bell so that you'll be notified every time a new video drops here on YouTube.